on the front for Sky. Apollonia at the back of that little train there. And Russell Downing has slotted in front of him. They're clearly impressed with Downing's ability to lead him into the last section of the race, Sean, because he's come around right the way around the outside with a good burst of speed and slipped in behind Peter Kenyuk to help out Apollonia in the last 150, 200 metres.
Yes, well, of course, Russell Downing is a good sprinter in his own right, and you know, they're the guys that you need to prepare the final kilometres. And we did see Russ making a big move there to just get into a position, and now they look to be in a good position a moment ago, but it changes so quickly here. You know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and you can get totally boxed out and lose 15 or 20 places, and it's all about, you know, just keeping an eye over your shoulder a bit if you're on the front in the first 8 or 10 riders, that you don't get blocked out. But still, we can see some of the Sky riders, and it looks like Russell there. Is that him in second position at the moment?
I'm not sure it is, actually, but I'm not quite sure who it is at the moment, because he's just been blocked by a flying liquid gas rider. And the rider from Sky is in fact Lars Petter Nordhaug, who's come forward. I have to confuse him actually in young Mr. Kenyuk, just from a distance. Oh, all slowed up to get through this bottleneck. Now this is exactly a reason why you should not be caught out, Sean, isn't it? If you've got this big long sweeping right-hander than left-hander. Now it's completely straight to the finish now. If you were further down the line and caught out, then it's game over, really, with this amount of time left to go.
Yes, well, if you're further back than 25, 30 position, you're too far off, and the effort you have to make, unless you have a couple of teammates which will do the job and take at the front, but you have to be at this point in the top 20 riders.
Nordhaug looks over his shoulder and pulls over. Now there's a little bit of looking. Who's going to take up the charge at the front? It's still liquid gas. Agnoli looks over his shoulder to see where everybody is. Alberto Contador keeping right up towards the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back at the moment, trying to make sure that everything's okay for him. Does not want to get caught out. It's a very straight run in, but if people start jumping across the road from one place to another, then there could be trouble. Stefano Garzelli keeping himself up towards the front as well, but Daniele Napolitano doesn't seem to be anywhere around at the moment. Whoop, jumping off the wheels. Cervelo rider, Garmin Cervelo rider was David Miller. Sky seem to have lost the impetus here, Sean. They've gone backwards a little bit, and I don't see, where's Apollonio? Is he lurking behind Mark Cavendish? Don't see much of him at the moment. You can see Miller for Garmin Cervelo behind there, but not quite in a good position as they were.
No, they've got a little bit scattered there, and it's not a good way to be at the moment. We can see Renshaw there with Cavendish in his wheel, and he's just leaning on a rider, and you know, we all know Renshaw, he can do such a great job. He just sits off there a little bit, not too much to the front at the moment. With 3 kilometers to go, you cannot go into, you know, the top 3 or 4 riders. Stay back in 10th position, but to hold that position is so difficult, and you know, the great lead out when the really good ones can do it so well, and Renshaw is the perfect one.
Is Miller taking a flyer? He's doing it again. He's got this ability, of course, as one of the world's best time trialists, to try and get away. Now, that's a good gap he's got, but that's a long way still to go. 2.5 kilometers to go. He's jumped very well on the far side of the road. We saw him lurking in the middle there, trying to get up to the outside. But with such a prestigious sprinting stage still available for the big guns, it's going to be very difficult for him to stay away. Well, already, Sean, they're just eating up into that gap.
Yes, well, he's pulled out a great advantage, and we could see there before the attack of Miller, it just kicked up a little bit, and there was a lot of riders, a lot of teams just playing the waiting game, did not want to really push it on anything near 100%, and Miller sees opportunity. But again, now it'll depend on, you know, what teams can get together, because if there's a little bit of rivalry, the teams look at each other, we could see Miller pulling out another couple of seconds, but it's a long ways out still, you know, 1.7 kilometres.
He's got to work exceptionally hard. He's got to really get his head down and motor towards the line. David Miller, who is, he's got a book coming out in the beginning of June. The launch will be in London, but today his entire focus is on trying to stay away from the peloton, and I don't think for 1 second it's going to happen, unfortunately. Very good move, good opportunistic move, but I don't think it's going to happen. Napolitano trying to move around the outside. There's a sort of combined train of BMC and Aqua Sapone in red, all on the left-hand side here. Moving through goes Belletti with Modulo on his wheel. So Sasha Modulo and Belletti up towards the front. At the moment, the pressure still coming on from HTC High Road. Cavendish is sitting behind Pataki at the moment. He's just watching him. Is one thing to do. That's another one to get out from behind him and take the win, as Belletti fights to get in the wheel of Mark Cavendish. It's going to come down to a very furious sprint in the end. Vacon Soleil doing the work to lead out here, with Daniele Hondo in the perfect position once again for Alessandro Pataki, a very good sprinter in his own right. Cavendish just behind the rider from Radio Shack is Cardozo, who is sitting on the wheels to try and wait till he comes past. And now a kick comes from the front. From Quick-Step. They move over out of the way, and Ventoso's team of Movistar move up towards the front. Morelio Fischer also there for Garmin. On the right-hand side of your screen, though, that's what we should be watching. It's Pataki and Cavendish. Cavendish coming past Pataki. It's almost neck and neck. Cavendish takes it. He goes past Alessandro Pataki with pure speed. And I think Ventoso it was who got second spot. A very impressive finish by Mark Cavendish, because he came off the wheel of Pataki, went around the outside and back into the front. So his trip to the Giro d'Italia is made. Now he gets the stage win. Be great to see that from the overhead shot, but that was a fine victory. Waited, got into exactly the right position,